Hello, everybody. This is Denise. I'm here with my buddy Neil. You're with the Town of Wallkill podcast. We call it TOWTalk, TOW Talk. And we are here to tell you all about the news that is happening in the town of Wallkill and Orange County wide. All right. So,
Yeah, we're not talking about towing other vehicles. That is
yeah.
one thing we are not talking about.
So today is Sunday, August 3rd, and today we went to an event held by the Orange County Democrats. It's an annual picnic, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it was very, very active. We had a lot of people, a lot of candidates coming up in this fall's election. We got to meet a few. So we're gonna briefly talk about that. So
Yeah,
you start.
it was interesting. We got to meet, we got to speak to two local candidates, running for county legislature, Monisha
Maldonado.
Maldonado, who serves the Mount Hope and Middletown area, and then we also met with Deshonda Carter, who is running for the Town of Wallkill seat at the county legislature. So we got to meet those two people. We got to meet a local candidate, Jean Day, who's running for first ward council person, and speak with her, which I thought was great. And then we also spoke with we spoke with an actual county legislator who's running again from the city of Newburgh and the town of Newburgh. All right. And that was Genesis Ramos. And that was an amazing conversation. So
Yes.
I'd definitely love to talk with you about that. And then we also met with the chairman of the Democratic Committee, Zach Constantine. So I think it was a full kind of boat, and we're kind of, going to be putting together those videos and interviews for everybody else later. But I want to, I think we should talk about some of the points that people were making today.
Yeah, there was one consistent point that I noticed from pretty much everybody that we spoke about. The main things that people seemed to be really interested in, these folks were really focusing on in their policies, was the cost of housing and transportation. Because we don't have county-wide buses, and the counties around us do. So transportation seems to be a really big issue because obviously people can't pay for housing if they can't get to work. So I found that that was an issue that came up a lot that these candidates spoke about.
So it's actually a very interesting issue. I was actually, believe it or not, when I was a councilman, I was on the Orange County Transportation Committee.
Oh, really?
I had attended a couple of meetings, and this was right before COVID, and COVID kind of shut everything down. And
Yeah.
so the committee, had stopped meeting. And one of the things that they were working on, which I believe is in existence today, that which a lot of people don't know about, is there's an app that you can download to your phone, right? That discusses the transportation around Orange County. So if you want to get from one place to another, you can use this app to you know go through and, okay, this is a public transportation, this is a dial-a-bus, go into here. I mean, it's a little bit convoluted, but that's what we got right now.
That's what we got. Yeah. Or I know you could take a coach bus around, but that's like
Sometimes.
sometimes
Yeah,
they don't,
to major
you're
places.
limited. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very limited. It's only going to be major stops along the way. And obviously, that's been reduced since COVID because not as many people are commuting to the city.
Right.
Um,
Imagine this. Imagine you live at one of our senior living facilities, okay, and you want to catch one of those coach buses because you want to go to, somewhere else. You want to go to the Commons or something like that, right?
right,
Well, you still have to be able to get from your senior facility to where the bus is picking you up.
right.
And so the idea being, a more robust transportation system could be helpful in the county. And that was one of the things that was always being discussed was, we could do, and it was a big promise, right? There was a promise that as the county grew, we were going to have this public transportation system because that would bring in more businesses. The more businesses that came in, the more jobs that would be available, right? I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand, and it's sort of one of those promises that just never came about.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, that was one of the things we talked about with Genesis, and was brought up. Government is meant to be a non for profit. It
Right,
takes in money and then it spends money, and it's supposed to provide services with the money that you give it. And we keep hearing about fund balance, how great fund balance is. But at the end of the day, what is fund balance? Fund balance means that in any given year, if you're putting money into fund balance, that your revenues are greater than your expenses. Essentially, you're operating it as a for profit.
Right.
So,
Okay.
right, so the idea being, well, what are you doing with that extra money? And what we've seen is we've seen a lot of giveaways, right? You end up seeing a lot of giveaways. You end up seeing a lot of things that maybe local communities need, but they're essentially like, hey, listen, we're going to give you this, and we want your vote.
Right. Instead of reinvesting it in things that would benefit everybody.
Everybody. Right.
Yeah.
So Newburgh is one of those areas. There are certain areas that are getting significantly better. And so you have people. It's becoming more gentrified in those areas. So
Right.
that's pushing people who need transportation where there is transportation to other areas, to more remote areas where they can't access public transportation.
And that's the reason why they get more congested in that area. So, okay.
I mean, it's sort of this double-edged sword, right? You want to raise property values, you want people to move in, you want, better things, but you have to be able to provide some type of services to get the people who are working, okay, right, or have jobs to their jobs,
Right. Right. And if they can't do it,
you
then
know?
they're not gonna come. So yeah, so this is one of the issues that I see that these candidates want to work on, and I think it's great. And that ties right hand in hand with the cost of housing.
Both go hand in hand, right? I mean, you want businesses to move in your area. You have to be able to say that you have a thriving workforce. In order to be able to provide a thriving workforce, you have to be able to know that those people to get to those jobs, right, are going to have transportation. And so we have a lot of warehouses coming into Orange County now. And
Yeah,
where where are those employees coming from? Where are the people coming from
that are gonna
that
work in them.
occupy those that are working in those jobs? And they're coming from Pennsylvania, from across
Right.
the border where rents are lower, the cost of living is lower, so because they can drive. The
Right.
people who live here can't afford to work at those jobs, and they may not have transportation to get to those jobs.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's something that we need to work on.
It's a
Um,
double-edged sword.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's so I'm excited to see what these candidates offer. One thing I noticed also is they were all young. They're all pretty
Yes.
much, yes,
Yeah.
a lot of young, progressive, forward-thinking individuals. It is so refreshing to
New
see.
ideas.
Yeah, new ideas because these are the future. These people are getting involved because they know that their future depends on this. Rather than leaving it to sort of the old guard that are, well into seniorhood here, who have been just sort of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's not working anymore. So
It's it's a new economy. It's a
yeah.
new, I mean,
Oh,
like I love when people come up to me, who have been retired, and they're like, "Well, in my day, we worked a job for 30 years, and we paid for everything ourselves," and you get that a lot, and it's like, well, nobody works a job for 30 years anymore. There is
no.
no job security like that. And we all have other things that we have to do. Like we have to pay for health care. We have to pay for, it's not the same. It's not equivalent. You know, the employer doesn't pay for the healthcare the way they used to pay for the healthcare. They didn't invest. You have a defined benefit pension plan. Whereas everybody else is defined contribution pension plan, and they can't retire because they have no savings for that. it,
Right.
it's it's a different economy. It's a gig economy, and the people who are getting sort of screwed the most are the younger people, the people who now are saying, "I want to run so that I can, dictate my own future." And this
Right.
is exactly what we've been telling them, right? Like, you want to be the maker of your own destiny. This is how you do it.
Yep. and it's absolutely wonderful to see, and there's just so many dynamic young candidates out there, and I really love their platforms. I was absolutely so thrilled to talk to these people.
Oh yeah,
So
they did a great job. Jean Day, who's running for first ward council person, talked a lot about transparency, which was interesting because it was echoed throughout the day. And I think the interview with Genesis really put that into perspective when she says if there are needs in your community and all the deal making is happening behind closed doors, right?
correct.
You don't even know you're being shortchanged, right? I mean,
That's
you don't even know it. You just hear, well, we don't have money for that, and that's it. Not realizing that there was money behind the scenes that was being dealt, and your whatever your issue was, didn't get anything. And I
didn't get
thought that
any
that
attention.
right didn't get any attention, and now you're right. So the idea of understanding and having that transparency of knowing what decisions are being made and why they're being made and what the choices actually are make a big difference.
Makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference. And this is sort of the theme of where we are in this moment. So yeah, so it's really important for people, if especially if you're watching this, if you're thinking about you know going out there and running for something, now's the time. And by the way, Zach Constantine, he's the director. He's running the Orange County Democrats, correct?
He's the chairman of the Democratic Committee in Orange County, correct?
Okay. And I believe they have sort of like a run for something training. So anybody who
Yep.
watches this is thinking about it, reach out. I believe it's OC Democrats. Is it OC
I
New
don't I
York?
don't remember.
I believe it's ocnydemocrats.org or .gov. You have to. You know what? I'll find it and I'll post it in the links below. So in
All
the
right.
comments below, so you can check that out, see what they're doing, how they will train you. They will let you know different things that are open that could be used. And when it comes to running, and we all have to do this. Even I'm thinking about it. That we need to run. It isn't just, we all think about, Congress and running for the big jobs, but as I'm learning more and more, especially from you, you know this because you've already been in local government, how important it is that how important local government is, local, town, county, how that builds the foundation. Uh,
Well, I say this. I used to go around so I am not thinking about running. There is no thought of me running. Um,
sure about
but
that?
I'm positive. What I'm most amused by is right. So you know, Democrats, right? Whatever you think of them, they're concerned about the EPA, right? The EPA is getting gutted at the federal level. We can't gut the EPA, and I hear that, and I say, well, your water, your sewer, your roads, that's all local government,
Right,
okay? The EPA just sets the standards. Your local government is the one providing these services to you. So this is what transparency is. This is what we talk about, right? Is the idea that we should know what's happening in our local government to know if there are issues. So yeah, the EPA, whatever, they may loosen standards, they may do what they're going to do, and that's going to be a problem overall. But do we have the right people in place locally that are going to be looking out for us,
right,
right? Looking out for their constituents, right? When it comes to these environmental issues that impact us on a daily basis, drinking our water that comes out of our faucet, flushing our toilets, right? I mean, you think about it, the deals you make for your wastewater treatment, okay, the chemicals you're putting in your water, all of this is determined by your local government. Are you
right,
going to be getting, or is this going to loosen standards at the manufacturers that you're buying the product from? And how will
right.
you know that as a government agency? There are so many factors that play a role that people aren't even thinking about. There's this idea, oh, it's just going to happen because it's always happened, right? you
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
know, and you know, if you're an elected official, you should be thinking about these things, but most don't.
And that's the reason why we need new blood, we need new people that actually do
Right.
care. And I see that these folks do care. I was really impressed. Super,
Yeah,
super
they're great,
impressed.
aren't they? They're
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah. And I also I took a so Michael Sussman, he's an attorney. He's a well-known, isn't he?
Civil
He's
rights attorney.
civil
Yes.
rights attorney who is running for the county seat against, I guess that's
Steve Newhouse.
Steve Newhouse. But yeah, so he's going to be, and Steve Newhouse is an incumbent. He's been up there for a while now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so but Michael Sussman is challenging him, and he did a nice little 10, 11 minute speech that was powerful. So I took the video of that. I'll be posting. I'll probably put that up by itself. I think it's important for people to hear because he had a lot to say, as did the rest of our candidates. We have so much. I have so much material that we have to go through. It's going to be fun putting this up, but I have so much information to put up for everybody. So you know, so much to do. But anyway, yeah. So getting back to you said, I would say Genesis had a lot to say. She was covering a lot of things, and you were saying that there were some other points that she made that.
I think all the points she made are important, you know, when we because we listen, no matter where you're watching on TV, you're hearing these days about government, you're hearing about democracy, and you're hearing
Oh
about
yes,
minority interest versus the majority interest. Like we can have those conversations. There are plenty of conversations all packed into the Orange County, right? And in
right.
our local communities, about whether those things are even occurring. You know, you have 21 county legislative seats, and five of them are occupied by Democrats. Okay,
Yeah,
so the idea being, you know, it's a super minority, right? Democrats are the super minority, and so are any interests being talked about, cared about that are needed in Orange County, right? Like, I mean, you know, you have a diverse population around here of people from all walks of life needing all types of services. And the one thing I do say is Orange County does have some great services. Okay, so it's not like they're failing in a number of different areas because they're not. They're doing really really well, but there are things that we could do better like
right.
anywhere. And the idea being that as a community, are we all working together to make it better for all of us, right? Or are a select few deciding who it's going to be better for? And that's
Yeah,
sort of a question we all need to kind of ask, you know? And so I think we work better as a community. I think we work better together. I think taking all walks of life, you know, and putting it together and you know, I used to have a teacher that used to say we're a salad,
yeah,
you know. We're
yep,
not a melting pot, we're a salad. And you have to enjoy and embrace and appreciate every bit of what makes it a salad, right? As opposed to
right,
trying to take people and conform them to what you want them to believe or want them to do.
right.
And you know,
And that seems to be the challenge that we're dealing with every day in this environment.
it
You
really
know,
is.
it really is. But people are standing up. People are standing up, and we need to do that in this moment. Everybody needs to. I'm always anybody who I'm in all kinds of groups, and I'm always posting. I'm always telling everybody, stand up. Now's the time. You know.
We heard
Um,
that message today too from Genesis,
yes. Yeah.
right?
Yes, we did. Yes, we
She
did.
was she was very much channeling Ellie Weisel. And that's sort of the message that she was channeling was this idea that you have to stand up. Now's the time to stand up, you know? And she said it very eloquently, much better than I can, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She's very, very good. She's very, very good. Um, Yeah, they kind of wish she was in our town, but she's in Newburgh, and Newburgh needs her. We can't steal her.
Well, we have two really strong candidates, DeShonda Carter and Manisha Maldonado, who are running for county legislative seats, as well as Shauna Best. She wasn't there today, but we have three great county legislative, candidates, at least on the Democratic side, who, they're good young talent for this area.
Shauna is, I thought is she running for an attorney? Like a,
No, she's running for a county legislative seat out in Crawford.
okay. Oh, out in Crawford.
Crawford,
Okay.
Crawford, and part of the town of Wallkill.
Part of the town of Wallkill. Okay. Because was it her or Deshonda that won the primary? I think it was
They
Deshonda.
no, they both won their primaries.
Ah, that's nice.
That's what I meant. Yeah, they
Yeah,
both won their primaries.
that's it. That right there says that
Right.
people are alert, people are paying attention, people realize we need
Yes.
change. So you are doing great. You are doing great, Orange County and Town of Wallkill, and that's what we need to do. So hopefully through this platform, we can give you more content, more information about things that are happening, and particularly with government, because we want to make change and we want positive change for the future.
Yes, we do. I
All right, so we're gonna finish here. I'm gonna put over the next day or two or three, whatever long it takes to edit these things. I've got some videos coming up. Maybe we'll do a little intros as to who we're talking, as to each person or candidates that we spoke to, and you'll be seeing those in the near future. And I'll put a link down in the comments for Orange County Democrats in case you are looking to run for something in the future. They will help you. All right. And please like, share, and subscribe. It goes a long way to get us up in the algorithm and get us out there, get our message out there for people, for others in the community to see. All right. Enjoy the rest of this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
guess.
Bye, guys.